Welcome back to EU5, episode 14, as we continue on almost into the 16th century here. The first thing up for us is that we are down to a single province to get meritocracy way back to tier 1, but meritocracy adopted as an institution. It is this province, once again, this last one, seemingly all the time for us to adopt things, and it's at like 97% right now, so it's going to tick by in a couple of months to get us to that 100% mark. Right now, obviously, it's cheap. Stability cost, gold cost is not expensive, but I want to ensure that if you wait, if you're patient, will you get that 100% without cost? Will it just trigger? And so we should be finding that one out fairly soon. Meanwhile, we've got two explorations going on in the Columbia region of land so that we can start colonizing there. But in the meantime, we also want to colonize the Leeward Antilles. And I think we needed a little bit more in gold to make that happen. And we might have that option at this point. No, it's 135 gold. Okay, not a flat 100. So we need 135. We're going to wait a few months for that one to tick by. And that's where we begin things for this episode. Event from one of our cabinet members, but we can gain 50 development for a region at the cost of 10 legitimacy. I'm a fan of that one. Corruption at its finest. Beneficial. Prize Hunter, that is tech. Is that tech? No. Oh, it's a trait for Crown Prince. Ship capture chance. And here is another negative event. Selling of indulgences by the king. We can lose gold, which would be everything we have at the moment, to gain 10 religious influence. The alternative, lose religious influence. You know, that's not that big of a deal. We already have 3 cardinals. Papal states would not be happy with us, but that's okay. We're not friends anyway. And there it is. It did happen automatically without cost, as predicted. Meritocracy, the institution, is now embraced. That's finally all of the tier 1. Of course, there's research that's now unlocked way back into that tier 1. Probably quick and easy things to take. They shouldn't be hard to acquire, along with whatever's left of tier 2, as we were getting pretty quick with the tier 2 stuff. I'm assuming, and this is an assumption, and I could actually probably verify it really quick. Let me verify it, and then I'll let you know. And yeah, quick confirmation. So I think these values do change over time. So I think there are modifiers that impact them. I think the values were different at the beginning of the game. However, tier 1 research, 17 points of research required to progress. Tier 2, 19.55 right now, 19.5 points of research to be conducted, and 32.5 for the tier 3. Clearly, there is some type of modifier. I think the tier 1 stuff, if I remember back at the beginning of the game, started at 21, so we've brought it down a fair bit from that stage, from that time, that era. And you can see that is right here. Research progress depends mainly on the power of our liturgical language, average literacy of our pops, the estate satisfaction of our clergy, and the number of institutions we have embraced. So, yeah, it's all dependent on this, that, and the other thing, and it's all additive. There's your monthly research progress. So I thought this was kind of the one that scales up towards it, but it looks like the cost also scales down. So it's kind of go both directions as I get a little bit closer. And yeah, tier 1 stuff would finish really quick, less than 10 months to finish each individual research item. Obviously, the other thing we've been up to here of late is the adoption of these regions, and it looks like Castile is finishing off Granada. Castile is going to take the rest of Granada, so we are not going to get that last state. No, they are at war. They are at war with Morocco. It would be nice if they take a little bit more land, because our problem, though, for a while at least, is going to be the simple fact that they're going to have a peace, a prolonged peace, so calling them into a war is going to be harder. We're going to have to wait for that to end. But if they take a little additional land in Morocco, there's a foothold. That was our problem with that last campaign, why we had to end it early without actually taking any land off of Morocco. But if Castile opens this foothold a little bit further, we know that we can station troops right there in Castile before it starts. Or immediately at the start anyway. We lose some army tradition and manpower. That's a lousy one. We don't have much manpower to army tradition to spare, or really any for that matter. Anyway, back on where our conversions are at. Malaga's 75% now. It's 3/4 of the way there towards moving towards Catholicism, where Granada, we're still just getting started on that process, but already 7%. Yeah, it's helping. But those Sunni zealots, 65%, but their numbers are shrinking. They're down to 70k pops. So smaller and smaller that group gets. Each kind of tick forward as we progress there is making their pool smaller and smaller, from which they would be able to provide a sizable force of rebels. Research proximity cost through port. That's helpful, especially through here. Speaking of, suddenly, how's our control looking? Yeah, it's progressing. 13, 13, and 7 now. And suddenly there's 2. That's through the port. The port, I think we got ports in each of these 2 spots that are helping with that one. Maybe we need to add a port here. There's a 1. It's ticking upward. So increased control means increased funds coming from these new states, making them profitable, not costly. There was something else I wanted to do, and I've been sitting on it for way too long. Suddenly we have 300 gold when those are about to finish too. It's going to be a twofold thing. I'd rather get the colony on the go first than additional explorations at the moment. So let's get these Antilles. Let's make sure that there isn't anybody else here. Okay, it's all native pops, it looks like. Yeah, it's all native pops up here. So it appears anyway. So create colonial charter. We might have the markets now to do something, but this is where we're sending everybody from anyway. So we want to do something with over 100k. Tres os Montes. Furthest north, as we do eventually get out of Porto as the capital, it's going to be a less important region. It's going to have less control than other areas, and it's fully Portuguese and Catholic already, so we're not sending people that we're going to have to then turn around and convert later on. So Granada, Malaga, not a good idea there. So yeah, we'll send. Ooh, that's more expensive though. 158 gold. That's okay. All right, that is our new colony begun, and here's funding the university. This university already exists though, doesn't it? Hungry minds must be fed. 400 freaking gold is insane. That is going to be, we're talking 200 plus gold debt. That's a few loans. That's a lot of. That would take a while to pay back, and but there's research progress gain, and this character joins us, and he's not fantastic or anything. That research progress is not that valuable. That is too expensive for that. And this character is not that useful. The prestige isn't a big deal. We only have 1. And the character is not that big of a deal because I don't think he's an active character. This is adding a character, and it's 1 group in 1 city that would be unsatisfied. So I'm going to have to say no to that. I normally am a fan of skipping the research queue and speeding things up, but that was way too costly for the value it's providing. A month for these guys. They'll be done here pretty quickly, each of them 15 days on those explorations. I'm just seeing that we can't see that far now. I have so much going on right now, and with 5 markets, it's suddenly spreading out the panel here. And there is Caracas area, and both of them actually. We're going to want to get started in this area here almost right away. In fact, instead of exploring twice, I think I'd rather have 2 charters so that we're actually claiming territory, and then get 1 exploration, as we can essentially fund 3 things. But which one do we want to fund? I think that's going to depend a little bit on the goods. Like pearls, that's valuable. Salt is valuable. Clay is not valuable, but is useful. Copper. There's silver. There's our first silver. That's where we need to start. We do not have silver or gold ourselves. While there is good things in both sets of provinces, silver is our start point. So whichever colonial charter that would be, and it's just right here, huh? It's just these 4. But yeah, we begin with silver. We have the gold for it. We will start. Oh wow, yeah, look at that. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different territories here. Let's go ahead and pull from the capital, Estremadura. They've got people to spare. And we'll wait until our funds come up here just a little bit. They will increase quickly. In fact, the cost of doubling up here does not seem to be hurting us that much. We're already at 14%. There's only 5 provinces this time on those leewards. It would be nice if they would just kind of automatically join into the colony that's here and give it some growth and expansion, as it would do in EU4 often. There would be some sort of crossover point where it no longer adds to, but yeah, I'd like to see that. Rush of merchants or extra benefits. Which one's better? Trade advantage 20% or burgers trade capacity. I'll take the extra benefits across the board, not just to the burgers specifically themselves. This cardinal seat thing is still stalled, even though, yeah, see, we're at a negative 0.94, but I think this is calling on that, yet somehow we're still. Can I look specifically at like the book market? Oh, well, there's your scriptorium coming right at the top of the list there, but that's not because it's there we go. Supply 6.67, demand is 7.61. We just don't even have enough demand, which is why it's not building the next one, and I'm not sure that that's the demand for the build. I mean, it's barely any. I think we just have a negative balance, period. Demand for whatever reason. Here we go. Needs of the clerics. This is what I was looking for. Urban parliament seats, university maintenance, needs of the burghers, establishing cardinals. That's only 0.1, so it is counted right now. Needs of the nobles and hospital needs account for 7.61, which even if you drop the establishing cardinals, we're still at 7.51. It's still almost 1 short. So we need to double up on this, get both Porto and Lisbon on it. Others are not making as much, but we're definitely going to have to get another city in on this fairly soon. And we're holding off our next exploration a little bit longer. We need to get those books taken care of. We've added so many scriptoriums, but we still have a negative balance compared to need. There's that full occupation of Granada, as expected, but then there's your full occupation of Castile. So curious to see if they're going to be able to make an inroad on Morocco, and maybe just maybe hold that thought. We do not have a truce. Yeah, our truce expired a long time ago. I'm not counting on it happening with any sort of certainty. Okay. Castile just pieced out Granada. And maybe they will turn their focus on here, but Granada, their last little piece here, their last sliver, is wide open. So we're going to do this twofold. We're going to go after both. I'm assuming Granada does not have allies right now. Or if they do, it's just Morocco, and Morocco's going to be right for the taking right now. So if Castile gets in here and has some success against Morocco and starts taking land, we can piggyback that and come in and take what they're not taking. Come in while they're beating up on Morocco and get the leftovers type scenario, especially the little Granada sliver right there. I think we can actively get after both of those things. So for now, spy network, and then fabricate claims, and keep an eye on what's going on here between Castile and Morocco. Will they finally invade and get their butts over there and win a war while we catch up and get involved? They are making new troops. I mean, they already got 50k right here. But with the Granada part out of the war, you would think Castile would make an effort to get over there. For now, they seem to be increasing the size of their army. Speaking of, if we're going to be doing something, we're going to need more cogs. I think we still just have a few. Yeah, we only have a few. So build to navy. Let's give ourselves a handful more cogs. So again, exploration on hold as we have a chance to expand much closer to home in a way that, you know, is land that you can kind of hang on to and not just make money off of. We're up to 34th at the moment, by the way. So that would be the extra points from adopting meritocracy, pushing us ahead. And in fact, we just climbed another spot to 33rd. I think at the same time, another thing that's going to be boosting your prestige is this down here, and we've already claimed the first territory for the leewards. We're still working on whatever to start out. I'm guessing it's somewhere right about here. Yeah, we've got 890, but there's a larger population. That's going to take a while to finish. 4,000 we've got to get ahead of before we're going to take that first territory. So yeah, it says 46%, but we are done with one, working on the second here. And oh, come on, here we go again, another negative. This one does come with benefits, and we're only 2 ducats away from actually having it, meaning we will not get, as we have time to, you know, take the balance over another month, even if it doesn't hit the 24 that it's expected to, like the last time we encountered that problem. We only need 2. We only need 2 ducats. It's going to get a positive 2 ducats. But Porto jumps by 0.5 on development just like that. That's a big boost. And local satisfaction. And we gain monthly prosperity and prosperity recover. So yes, we are going to do that. And some research just finished as well. Okay, so we have a couple large forces for Castile, but they have not made a move to get over there. I don't know if they have cogs. That could be their problem. But they have so many navies. They've got to have, right? Monastic intellectuals. Hey, research progress and clergy satisfaction. So that's definitely the one I like. Get those research boosts. We just started this research and already pick up 5 points. And our Sunni zealots have hit 75%, but pops have already dropped by another 7% from where it was. So we're down to 63k that would get involved. And like I said, as we continue to decrease that number, it just feels like they're going to be toothless. But it might not be a bad idea before they get to 100%, just to add a little bit more to our regular army, enough to fend off. King's expedition to North Africa. King as in Castile, right? Crusade against the heathens in Africa. We have religious influence plus 10. We get claims on Morocco for 4 years. I think this is Castile looking for a little assistance. They probably pushed out for this. There is a way to, I don't remember where it is in my screens, but I've seen it. There is a way to use influence to call a crusade. So it looks like that is their attempt, and suddenly we have the casus belli on Morocco. But again, I want to piggyback, not lead. I'm not leading this thing. We don't have the navy for it, even though we did just expand our navy there a bit. We've added some transport ships. Galley light ship transport. That's the thing I was looking for, and there's no transports here. So Castile does not have transports, at least not in their large navy there. That's light ships. This is probably light ships, you would imagine. There's more than one. It's split. It's hard to tell. Oh, there you go. Heavy ships and galleys. Yeah. So Castile does not have transports. That is their problem. That's why they won't get their troops over to Morocco. Meanwhile, I only have 7. Traditionally, with an EU4, that would be about 7k troops that we can transport. I don't know if that's actually the case, which is probably why we weren't able to do that when I was trying before. 7k at a time. France making us embargo England. And Parliament is ready to meet. We got 4 years carry on this one, but I don't see Castile doing anything in the 4 years. I don't see them getting over there because they have no they have no cogs. They have no transport vehicles. We can host army exercises. We can expand our armory. We're at plus 15. If we're going to add more troops, that is going to impact things. But I don't know if I need to be building 2 more armories right now. I mean, it would give us a really healthy balance. And as we do expand our forces, it's certainly useful. Sponsor a university. Cutting the cost down quite a bit. That cuts it in half. And we're going to get monthly research progress while it's being debated, and it makes us more innovative. I'm happy with that. University at half cost, essentially, because it's 400 base, and we've got discounts in place that seem to amount to about 15%. So I think this is half cost of what it would cost us otherwise. Save a couple hundred ducats. But we're going to have to help that out. We're only at 27%. A 21% bonus is nice. Serfdom. We want to move towards serfdom, away from free subjects, which is odd, but crown control works really well when you shift that direction, and 5 prestige is all we need to give up, so happy to do so. Still at 48 though. Demand for a new monastery. Costs 16 ducats. That's okay. Yeah, let's do it. That gets us above 50. Almost to 60, so that should be enough. We've already got the spy network on Granada. Sadly, it's down to that single... Ooh, and actually there's a mountain in between. It wouldn't be connected, but it's through Spain. I think we're okay with having it there. Hopefully. We could always make a subject if we have to. And I think we're far enough along here and not that threatened here. What is the... Yeah, there's only 15k in the population. So even if we added all 15k to this Sunni Zealots, I think we're still okay. We will still be okay. So if we're about to call up the troops, now's not a great time to start our next exploration. By the way, the leewards are now over 100 with a 103 mark, and we're exactly 3 out of 5 complete now, so it's not going to take too long. We're at 16% here. We're at 80% on Uruguay. Let's go check on that Uruguay. That was the one here, I'm assuming. Yes, it is. Okay, we have half of what they have. I'm assuming that it's still going to take the 4413. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. Obviously, we already have 2,000, and it only takes 1,000, so clearly it does take additional. And of course, we went through all this. Over here, I'm wondering if there is some way, though, to get back on this. Maybe we can continue. I mean, we have the majority, but it's not 50%. I need to keep on this, an eye on this for like a month or so. Does the Median grow? Okay, it passes. We're gonna build our university, and I forgot to... There we go. That's all we needed. Now we have the ducats for it. Grant privileges to the nobles. Not a fan of that, but it's just a little equilibrium shift for 5 years. That's okay. Oh, that's your problem. This is why it failed, folks. A little detail we missed. So, there's 50,000 people. We have the most, but it's not 50%. 50% is what you need. It's not just overtaking and becoming the most populous, it's 50%. But because there's multiple here and there was already 20,000 people there, the pop capacity for the location was reached. And that is why not only did we not get the colony, nobody got the colony. It's still blank. Nobody can get it. It collapsed for all. Population growth is sitting at 0. Migration attraction is slowly pulling people away. That's a terrible waste of 20,000 people. We'd be over 1.8 million right now with that, because it's no longer in our place. We just sent them there for nothing. But we do have some research done. Plantations become available. This is a huge moneymaker if you have things like sugar, cocoa, cotton, major money makers as buildings, and I'm guessing they're fairly expensive. They're not even expensive. Oh, that's tobacco. 50. They're cheap. Oh man. Okay. Well, at least I finally understand what happened there. Ossard, I'm guessing, is being colonized. Nobody's even bothering with Ossard. Okay, well, we have 20 spy network on Morocco, but we have a Casus Belli anyway that's got just over 4. We got 4 years and a month. But I'd really like to see Castile get over there. And we have... Okay. So some sort of miracle from Morocco. We can gain some stability, which is definitely nice. I do not like that 1%. It's going to drop Malaga by 1%. It's going to make it 83 instead of 84. That's okay. That is okay. It's a little setback. It's going to happen either way. And we bring the character over as the other option. I don't need to bring this character over. He's decent, though. He is decent. I'll take this 7 stability, though. And look, Castile gave up land. So war over with Morocco. So Morocco is not a wide open target. But when we have our Casus Belli here with Granada, we'll see real quickly whether or not Morocco is still an ally. I'll wait to see. We'll let him finish the task. It's not hurting me to do that either way. But without a major war coming soon, I guess we can go ahead and get back on the exploration track here and see what is next. We've got plenty of land that we can colonize right now, so we need to get back to kind of our sea. Do we want to get along here and at least get your trade winds fully unlocked? Maybe we aren't accessing this. Maybe it'll speed up trips. Not quite sure how that works, but yeah, this might be a good... I'm wondering now if we have enough happening in market to be able... We've got a full stockpile here. There is needs for fruit slaves, clay, livestock, pottery. I think we might have the goods. Let's give it a try. This would be Kurakari. We're going to give it a shot and see if the goods are available. And Vasco da Gama, or whatever name we've got him being called, just 76 days, and we will see. Yeah, it seems to be ticking by quick, so it's a much shorter prep time to get out and do the job. Alright, so Uruguay, just 1k to go. By the way, we're suddenly getting plus 130, and Uruguay is showing a 100% that it's done. It is done. Okay, now I'm confused. The Leeward Islands just finished? Holy cow, that was fast. Okay, I could play as. We don't want to do that. Let it join Windward Islands. There you go. That's exactly what I wanted to do. We are going to... So we have a choice. We can make it a new colonial subject. We can add it to our existing colonial subject, which makes them stronger. which makes them give us more taxes, and it does not make them strong. You got to be careful of making them too strong. They'll get Liberty Desire, but for now, that makes perfect sense to add them to the Windward Islands and have just one colony there. So that's done already, which means we can afford to get into the next one, and it somehow just triggered this guy, even though we do not have the 50% majority. We're only at 41, but we got 3K. I don't ask me how that works. Don't ask me. I don't understand now. I figured we needed that little bit more. Obviously, it took more. Something happened though. They're gonna make maize. That's corn, and with maize, that's gonna open up new possibilities back in the old world from the new world. But that colony is going to continue to expand. We want to expand like next door, one direction or the other. So let me see our states options. There we go. There's adjacent. That's what I was looking for. Paraguana. I think you get a bonus when it's adjacent. So you colonize faster when you're doing something adjacent to another colony. So we're going to push on this way. Yeah, Paraguana, like it touches right here, and so that makes it adjacent. Once we get this colonized, then Caracas will also get that benefit and colonize more quickly, and we can expand in multiple directions there. So Paraguana, and we are already doing Extremadura. We don't want to do Granada yet, and that means maybe we want to use Minho this time. Porto's going to be just less and less important for me over time, so yeah, we'll do Minho. They've got us at 20% here as we're starting Nergua. So which one is Nergua? That's the one. Oh, there you go. That'll give us the adjacent. So we could have 3 colonies going after Nergua is colonized. And yeah, suddenly we're at 130 gains on each of those. So happy to see that. But we can definitely do exploration. Didn't I already queue something up for that? I did, didn't I? Yeah, 92 days. Militant Faithful. 4 infantry regiments with 800, but it's mercenaries. I don't need to hire mercenaries. So stability and prestige. Will they become? Yeah, I'm just not sure, because it says hire, and when you're hiring mercs, it means you're paying more, as opposed to just adopting them into the army. If we're adopting them into the army, I'd be happy, but I don't think that's going to be the case, so we'll take this stability and prestige. We're going to lose stability to keep our cabinet member alive. So the stability we gained not long ago is already gone, but at least we've managed to add 5 stability just through time. And we did top 1.8 million, by the way. We also have a good amount of funds to go ahead and spend on some production items. And there's some good money makers right now. Weaponsmiths, again, remember to keep these spread out. Sensor Aim's going to make good money and help spread out. Carpenters Guild, paper makers, and finally we'll do tools here in the short term. And there we go. Brazil Sea exploration has begun. So we did have enough goods in that trade market. So that's going to save us a lot of time. We can now start using this as the launch point for our explorations. As there was no delay, there was no hold up there. Pop promotion speed, research complete. Wow, that happened quick. I just spent all that money on constructions, and we're already right back at 300 ducats. And we're making 25 even with exploration happening, and it's only going to take us 3 months to complete that one. But Dagama is why it's so quick, so I might just let Dagama continue, and we'll just get another a third colony going fairly soon. Legitimacy, which we spent 10 of and got back to 99. We're over 90% on those Sunni Zealots now, but they're also down to 35k. But we're also about to finish the Casus Belli on Granada and might have ourselves a war here in a moment. Let's find out where we're at in that matter, as we now have it. Oh, spy network's at 52 though. Maybe I want to do that before we attempt. Let's see what happens. Can we steal some maps from Granada? What do they have that I don't? Apparently, a fair bit. Yeah, the next Central African region is Air. So let's take that. There we go. There's another region discovered. Okay, we've got to wait for a diplomat to return. Brazil Sea discovered. That was fast. That was fast. We'll get straight into the next one. Of course, it reveals this area. I mean, no surprise by that. But now I feel like we can go after this. Kwesi. And again, we wanted to go from Karakari. Vasco da Gama is only 34. We are going to get through exploration really fast with him, while we're also just rapidly improving. But at 92%, I do think it's time to expand our forces here just a bit. So let's recruit to army. Currently we have 8 men-at-arms. Let's make it 10. We have 4 handgunners. We're going to make it 6. And there's a positive, sort of. It's a trade-off one. Nobility could be happy, which they already are, but we can make them unhappy and give us gold. Well, we're getting gold fast. That's 10 months worth, which is certainly nice. They're at 55%, which is actually just above their equilibrium. This is going to knock them down to 40 for a little bit. It's going to make them unhappy. And we're going to immediately turn around and then reinvest a little bit further. Let's go ahead and get some cavalry and maybe a supply cart. Maybe we need to order a supply cart for the first time. Let's order at least 1 supply cart. Go. And then let's get initiative bonuses for the cavalrymen, but they take more morale damage. I don't like those negatives. Not a very good trade-off. The heavy cavalrymen, they have good maneuverability already. It's just the initiative's not that high. Let's get a couple at least. We'll pick a different region here for this one. Where else to pull from? Pull from Sinez. So 6 new units, 7 if you count our first supply cart. And whoa, hello, the Sunni Zealots, their numbers just grew to 121k somehow. They are adding some numbers. But I'm liking that the new units are making their way across Castile to join our army. And even though their movement they've been on assignment to suppress rebels, which oddly they don't seem to be doing a very good job of, as this is a number that's grown once again. But let's check on the attack Granada thing. Yeah, it's Granada alone. They have no help. So this is going to be a simple one, except we're going to face the wrath of these Sunni Zealots. It's going to get a little bit tougher, but I am okay with that. And we don't need to call anybody in. And we're going to have two options with this. Because of this mountain range in between, there is a chance that we will not be able to take the land as it's landlocked and not connected to us. And if that happens, we will just have to subjugate them. Alright, we got a full 100% here too. There's no castle holding us up. We don't need to call up any of our levies to make this happen. This is just a simple victory on the way. Okay, operation successful, and just like that, it's 100% war score. So let's go in and will it give it to us? Yes, it will. There we go. I just had to let it tick forward a little bit. It is letting us take the land. Alright, I think we need to core it to cut down on the rebels before anything else. So we're going to pull back. Well, maybe we pull back our strength in government one and use all three of them. This one we'll use to integrate. And we still have a positive balance on the legitimacy. It's just not going to rise as fast anymore. And there goes our exploration beginning. We're 25% now on this first, on the Nurgwa colony. We have our first one. Capitarita on the second one. Let's see, it did not go in line, but that's okay. Things here. One, research the iron output, 75%. We've had some issues with iron output, so that really helped. But this literally just took a month or two for Nagama, or whatever we're calling him right now, to explore this region. Of course, it wasn't as hard when you're doing it from here to just go explore that region, but that was crazy fast. Now, we've expanded. We've almost not quite doubled the size of our army, so the expenses did go up a fair bit, but that's okay. Almeria integration, we're already at 15%. It is flying. But those Sunni zealots, yeah, they're on the way. But it's only 16,000 of them right now, so yeah, that's not a problem. Just two locations. Let's get our next exploration happening, Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, just 76 days to prepare, and it seems to only be taking him a very short while to actually do the job too. So he's fantastic right now, really helping us out here. More nobility in the army. They want to push towards aristocracy. The more we go towards aristocracy, the more power the nobles have, so we want to move away from it. And I want quality anyway, so we're going to put quality and plutocracy. That was our choice on that one. Kind of turns it into a positive event. By the way, we could be the subject of a jihad, as we have enough Sunnis now within our country that it could target others. But we have taken out Granada, the only one who really hated us. And invite settlers has become available. Let's bring them in. We've been taking them out of a couple of these regions. I think we pulled from Minho recently for colonies, so we'll send them there. Alright, we lost our agent in Granada because it does not exist, and now Morocco because I'm not ready to take them on. Castile can't even seem to do anything with them, right? So we're going to have to continue expanding our navy before we go take on Morocco. Obviously, our army has gotten a little bit stronger, and that's going to help us out with various things, but those Sunni zealots, it's almost time, 98.89. I just love that we somehow turned it down to only a couple of states potentially involved. The antagonism has dropped for the most part. below a certain threshold where they don't care anymore. And the Gulf of Mexico exploration begins, and what do we have? Seems Sunni zealots have proclaimed a country, and they are now starting a war of independence against us. And there you go, there's your two. Everybody else had dropped off. This one, I think, because of the size of it, hadn't faded away. It had just enough left. And then, of course, our new one that we just added in. So this is easy enough. We just go siege them down. Though this one would siege down in a couple of days. They have no troops right now. Let's go. We'll go here first. Siege it down very quickly and then come back. It's going to take more time to siege down the castle. This will stop them from calling up units. And they would have less there anyway, so taking care of them first, I think, seems wise. Empty cabinet slot, though, as we can't integrate that at the moment, so why don't we... Alright, I think our 3500 can handle it. At least I'm hoping they can, especially if we cut them off. Yeah, there you go. They called up 42 troops as we were entering. We're going to have to start getting cannons made up. Army morale. Okay, sweet. But it's all just infantry and a little bit of cavalry, and we get a proper battle. Okay, now that we've had our first proper battle, or are having our first proper battle, let's look at a few things. One, they have no commander. That's not going to help them. We do get the ratings. However, we did save our better commanders for exploration, and therefore we have actually a really weak general in charge. One, we have more numbers, but we're also talking about levy regiments. So I'm thinking, should be able to look at this now. What kind of regiments are they? I'm guessing this is like 54 regulars. This is 54 stronger units. Well, that's 1,300 basic peasant levies. Okay, we have morale at 4.19. There's this 2.82. We have military tactic capability level. We have discipline levels over a percent higher. So we've got a lot of bonuses and numerical advantage. This should be a fairly easy win. But let's make sense of what this looks like, especially for those not familiar with the game. And this does not quite resemble EU4. It's definitely changed, and I do understand how these mechanics work. So what we have is, these are my forces. We are the attacker. I've taken 1 loss so far. They've already taken 19. That's a sign. But anyway, this is our center. We have 399 units on the front right now. There's 200 and 500. These are engaged. That's the center. That's the left flank. That's the right flank. If any flank collapses, then you can outflank your enemy. This is our reserve, and that's our overall. That's the reserve. This is still part of the center. This is just directly engaged, where this is still there but not actively engaged at the moment, is what that is. There's also combat width and kind of a description of units. We can see we have some cavalry on the right. We also have some cavalry engaged, actively engaged on the left. Okay, so right now we have 100 cavalrymen and 400 infantry men-at-arms engaged right there. You can see here we have 400 men-at-arms, other than the one that died, and we have 200 men-at-arms that are in engagement actively on that flank. For them, that's it. Plated knights, so they do have the plated knights, but the rest is a peasant levy, as I expected. The plated knights are cavalry based, so that's this group. That's their center. Right now, they do have troops for the right flank, but they have not made it to the front, which means we're actually flanking them at the moment. And meanwhile here, their left flank also has not yet made it to engagement, and that's an initiative thing. Your initiative gets compared head to head. They don't have very good initiative for these peasant levies, right? No, that's men-at-arms, and this one is a peasant levy. So they've got a peasant levy and cavalry. They've got a men-at-arms, and so there's 2 peasant levies and 2 kind of regular units. The regular units are going to be a little bit harder to deal with, but we have them drastically outnumbered. And I can tell you this side's going to collapse really quick with nothing but peasant levies. And this side might not hold up for very long too, as they have a pretty weak count. Now, this is like your combat width. So your frontage, our used frontage is 3 out of 9.46, meaning these guys can easily get up there. These guys can easily get up there. You can absolutely engage. Green's the morale. If the morale fades, like, that side collapses. Or if they all die, that side collapses. Okay, 1 to 19 on the kill count right now. That's going to be mostly peasants and probably not the small group of plated knights. Their morale's definitely not going to fade that fast. They're going to be a little bit of a handle. And right now, this is the dice rolls. There's also a combat modifier as we are fighting in the mountains. And I'm attacking, so I'm going to suffer that penalty. It's going to lower my dice rolls. So it's not going to be a perfect scenario. We are going to take some losses. Speaking of, come on, let's get to it, right? Hurry up already. Yeah, look at those numbers. We're barely losing. Okay, quick pause here. We've lost 34 in the battle now. Also, you can see that they are completely engaged. None of their units are now back off the line, and we're still trying to get units engaged to the front, but we have a substantial advantage on every single front numerically. This side, it's against peasants, and you can see that they are fading on the morale the quickest, so they're going to rout before anybody else does. And they've taken a lot more losses, despite us being the attacker. Their left, our right flank, is also collapsing fast because they are numerically inferior. They only had 107, or they only have 107 left anyway. Their center's definitely holding up a bit better because of those plated knights, but you'll see it's already going pretty quickly in our favor, and now everybody's engaged, by the way, outside of our 100 reserves. That's the supply carts. They'll stay as reserves. Okay. Center holding up the best because of the plated knights. They still have half of them, but their levies are down to 51 from whatever hundreds they had. The one collapsing first, though, is the peasant levy. They're just too weak. But this group is just running out of numbers really fast. They just don't have enough men to hold up to the challenge. But we've lost 107. It's definitely not nothing, and those deaths do not come back. But there's your battle won. They lost that entire unit. They lost half of these troops. They are not wiped out completely, but I don't know where they would go. Where we took losses, the infantry, hardly a loss. We did lose some cavalry in that fight. Other things, army tradition that was gained. We get no war exhaustion from that. We gained a little bit of prestige, and we gained experience for the unit. Okay, they are routing. I think before we siege them down, we need to, finish them off. And there you go. They had 0 morale, which is why they routed, so they weren't able to put up a fight, so they instantly surrender and are lost. That unit is wiped. And now we can go siege them down and finish the war. No more troops should rise because we have control of this province. They can't spawn any units there while they don't have control of it. They can't spawn units here while they don't have control of it. Even though we do not yet have control, as it's being sieged down, they can't actively raise forces behind us. So that's it for the combat. This is now just a matter of finishing them off, and then this is also just a matter of refreshing our forces. And the king has died. The king has died. So Sancho is gone. He was 64. Remember, he was just a little kid when he was named king. Now, his son has become king. He's got decent admin. He's 39. And he remains the king of both Castile and Portugal and the Count of Ventador. He's got a spouse. He's got 4 children. So, finally, we can move to Lisboa. And that's interesting that it does not give you too many choices. That could be a problem in the future. If they don't give us Santarém as an option in the future, going back and forth between Lisboa and Santarém to keep the control. But we head to Lisboa and give Lisboa a prosperity boost. It's going to be good for us for our capital. We've been waiting for that one. Siege menus. So here's how this one works as well. I want to see the siege. There we go. Here is our siege phase. Right now we're at minus 14% for the chance of falling, meaning there is 0 chance that the siege is going to end. We have a phase in 7 days. Our last phase roll was 6. So let's see how things tick forward here in 7 days. It's not going to change until the 7 days are up. It takes time to conduct a siege. There is a castle. It's guarded. And we have to overcome that. And here's a event. Popular noble. Okay. There we go. So that siege phase just ended. Now we have 15 days till the next one. You can see our minus 14 just became a minus 7. And that's because we rolled an 11. Now, dice range. It's basically a 20-sided die. And we have anything between a 1 and a 4 will do nothing. Oh, hold on. Every phase, a die is rolled between 1 and 14, and then modified by 4. So actually it's 18 is the max. Supply shortage. So the dice roll can be a supply shortage, a food shortage, water shortage, defender's desert, or ultimately surrender. The dice range is going to change as these phases evolve, and as you hit the bigger rolls, it's going to have a loss of 10% strength. So that dice range shifts down. The water shortage, 5% loss, 3% loss. Supply shortage, 2% loss. And surrender is end of the siege. So you've got to be able to push things down and change that dice range as more things happen. We were 1 short of getting the food shortage on that last roll, where we would have gotten an extra percentage on the change. So as we pushed through that phase, we rolled a 7, which was supply shortage again. But you can see now that the odds have pushed upward. It's still at 0. Yeah, they'll learn to love them in time. That's the approach we have to take. We don't want to... That's something we've been stuck with for a little while. Okay, now we have a chance. The modification is the progress we've been making. It's a 1 to 14 roll every time. But we're adding a 7 to it. We got a 19 last time, so that was a really good roll. That's what put us at a 14% chance. Now we're at a 35% chance, so the odds just get better and better and better. And with the modifier, like, we rolled an 8, but we got a plus 10. Dessert, so it was big progress. We're at 35 or 36% chance now. 35 something. It should end fairly soon. So that's how sieges work over time. You have to have enough troops to outnumber the garrison, the castle that you are sieging, in order to conduct a siege. But then it's just dice roll, and that was successful. So now we have a 100% war score and can sue for peace. We ought to obviously want to keep these. And we can take gold from them. Sweet. 94. Happy to get that back. But do we have to reintegrate? Obviously, we didn't get integration for 1 complete. But we'll find out here in a second whether we have to go back through that. Our assimilation at 3%. Let's get back into integration. There it is. Integrate province. Okay, no. So we do not have to reintegrate Granada. It keeps its integration level. And we actually keep the 39.5% status that we had on Almira. So good. Okay, good. So we didn't lose anything. It just halted progress. I would imagine, though, that we probably lost some control. No! Actually, we have better control. It's at 19, though the surrounding control isn't there at the moment. And that takes care of those Sunni zealots for a good while. They're starting up again already, though. In fact, they made progress while we were in the siege, assumingly on the other Sevilla market. We shifted markets, did we not? I think we had France forcing us into embargo on Castile. I'm assuming that that has expired, and we have now shifted back to the Sevilla market, and we have some of it. So you can see the Malaga, most of Granada. We're down to just this southern edge, and here that's still in Fez. So we're actually spread out. We are actually spread out. Oh, and that. No, that's just a sea. Okay, that's not the Portuguese land. It's the sea. But that means we also don't have great control here. As for what's going on over here, market-wise, this is all on our windward market. This is all in a separate market. So we have Tayano has not appeared as one of our markets just yet. But we have 6 active markets right now. Gulf of Mexico is going to be done here in just 10 days. Valencia. Where was Kingdom of Valencia from? Where are you at? Well, hello, Kingdom of Valencia. Taken off. That was Aragonese land, so they just lost. But it looks like they are actively being sieged down by Castile, unless that was... Did Castile take that off of Aragon and it just rebelled against them in the same way that we were just rebelled against? I think that was the case. There's your Gulf of Mexico completion. And yes, we are now towards the American coastline, Atlantic coastline, I mean, other than Florida. We're doing pretty good on that coverage zone. I think I'd kind of like to get this area done, and we can do Lisbon for that. This is not yet done. Let's see how close is it. That's just a population base kind of thing. We have 5,000 so far, way behind the 19.5 that they have. But when did we top out here? Oh, that's a much smaller pop. We've already passed that quite a while ago. So hard to say when exactly it's going to get there, but when it does, we will begin a colony here. Copper and tin output, advanced research done, and Parliament is ready to meet once again. We're at 30% for the entirety of that colony, 20% for the entirety of this colony. And we are still... We're still reinforcing the armies, but the army maintenance itself is a little high, isn't it? We're going to need to get one more armory, it looks like, for what we have right now. So we can take care of that. So we'll get that built in Lisboa. And then the lumber mill is the big money maker right now, so we'll get one of those made. Another weaponsmith. We'll go into Centraim. Fiber crops. It's been a little while since we've done one of these. We'll start up a new one, Fiera. And let's go ahead and start our parliament, which is now going to be based in Lisboa, which is actually still building its control up to 100. Could stop one of these to help that out, but I think I'm okay for the moment. We're still in a transitional phase, but we still have a decent positive balance. Farming estates is the cheap, easy one. And nothing else necessarily jumping out at me, so we'll take the farming estates. It's almost at 50% already. It's not going to take much. Local assembly. Commoner's upset for a little bit. Ooh, the nobility's hurting. So what do we got here? Oh yeah, a French state not liking us. Oh no. Yeah, we'll take that. Reduce opinion. And we're at 57. I think that's acceptable. And there's Great Pestilence hitting Uruguay, hitting those locals. Atlantic Gulf Stream starts. It's going to take just 7 months to get this gigantic area explored. Then we'll move on to get that other sliver or other slice. Morocco. Oh my gosh. Morocco took this back. There's a target. There is a legitimate target against Morocco that you can take. We are currently losing some population due to this because those finished provinces do count. That population does count as ours as long as it's not colonial nation. And so as natives are dying off, yeah, pops down to 5,000. Portuguese are dying too, though. We're down under 3K, so we are taking losses as well. There's some Andalusi. There's Castilian here now. How is that even happening, though? Absenteeism. Find the worst offenders. We lose 5%, gain 130 ducats, or we just lose 10 prestige to maintain. We barely have a bus above the threshold of 50%, so we're going to take the prestige hit. By the way, France, yeah, they're cleaning up their borders bit by bit, slowly but surely. England, not doing terribly well. I mean, they've got like one Irish province under their control. Yeah, Lancaster, Chester, like not even included. Denmark, wow, Norway barely exists now. Vestfold was broken off from them, and that's like your chief Norwegian. Oh, not quite. No, Oslo's right there. I was gonna say I thought Oslo was here. Just a little off on my internal thought there. Whoa. Okay, we just lost a cabinet member. Let's replace him. We do have replacements. That's good. Okay, well, Sunni Zealots on the rise again, but there's only 15k of them this time. And that passes. Good. That's a wine farm and a livestock farm. A return of barter. Lose some legitimacy, which we're down to 83 at the moment, and not growing. For the sake of stability, but we lose traded... Oh, that's the 9-year crap. That's terrible. Lose inflation, make commoners unhappy, trade advantage for 9 years, and we push towards capital economy. Yes, without a doubt. Commoners a little bit upset. They're at 40% though. It's not bad. Okay, we are back to full strength on our army, and so we are just losing slightly. The manpower, and the armory is still in production, so it'll be done eventually. Atlantic Gulf Stream discovered. We got it. Okay, so we've picked up that area, and now we're going to get the sliver next to it. Looks to finish it off, we're going to have to also get this sliver to have the full stream. No, actually we're okay. We don't need the northern stream, we just need back home to Portugal. So we've got a southern stream. We'll have the northern stream complete here soon, and that's all fantastic. Do we want to do question question of the day. This is closer. This is much closer. All right, I have a solution to my legitimacy situation. Instead of using a government official, let's just deal with it ourselves. So we're gonna spend a little bit more on a court. Their equilibrium state seems to be about an 83, so we turn that up a bit, and that should take care of it at least for a good while and get us almost to a 100 now. All right. Castile has finished off their revolt and regained control. Aragon's getting small and wimpy. I'm starting to wonder if that could be a potential target for us. Culturally, they're already accepted, so it's easy. They're already Catholic, so it's easy. Antagonism-wise, like, who are we going to tick off? Castile? Like, they're not going to care. They want Aragon gone as well. They've already taken a decent amount of land from them. France wants them gone as well. So it's like Aragon doesn't really have friends. Are we still their friend? Maybe. I guess. We do have an alliance with Aragon. We are weaker than them, quite a bit. So Aragon somehow has a good old navy and military. Looking at Morocco, it's not as bad, but we are definitely weaker than them. And we got a ways to go before we are a force. But with an economy like this, while having 2 colonies and we don't have the exploration right now. It's still prepping. There's exploration cost going down, though. Like that one. Very much like that one. Now we have... Yeah, we're still making about 20 ducats, even with now 7 months to do the North Atlantic Sea Zone there. And we finally emptied our queue. That queue took a while to get through. We could do some cheap tier 1s and get really quickly through some things. Maybe we'll go back and check if there are any good cheap ones in the meritocracy. We have efficiency of our cabinet there. That's good. We want efficiency within our cabinet. Monthly literacy. We want that as well. Tax efficiency. Holy crap. Very useful things. Trade efficiency. Estate enrichment. What is that? Okay. Estates enrichment is how much they can withhold from taxable income, meaning it helps our tax threshold by 5%. This is all really good stuff here. And will happen quickly. Power projection. Probably good for our score. Cultural tradition. I think we can get to that later. Legislative efficiency, though, is also good. Build gravel road cost going down. Definitely nice. Estate power from cabinet position. Lowering that's good for us. Speed of integration is good for us. Stability investment costs. All of this. It's like we want to just finish off meritocracy. And then that leaves literally 1 research to do. And so even though it's not that important, let's do it. There's 14 meritocracy research items. We're going to take all 14 of them and finish off tier 1. Now, tier 2 we had already looked a while ago, and it was mostly scraps. But I have more knowledge than I had earlier, so maybe there is something as we finish our integration of Almera. Which means we can now begin converting them. Malaga is nearly converted. And that next wave of Sunni zealots has grown to 127k. I'm guessing that's because the Almanzora and Granada. So those two, after their rebellion, have been allowed back in. And then meanwhile, all the others that had extra antagonism because there was a rebellion around them and it boosted them back up a little bit, with that rebellion done and squashed, they went back into not caring anymore, and it's back to the same two that rebelled before, and that's their combined pop group, which is larger than what it had been, but we will slowly take care of them as we convert the Grenadins and take them away ultimately. And there's 121k left across that whole state. Group will definitely shrink faster as well, and they're not gaining as fast as before. It's only 0.21, as there's only 2 of them and not across an entire state, just a couple provinces. So all in all, I think we've dealt with, for the most part, those Sunni zealots. Absolutely flying on the growth of the economy. Trade in particular is starting to make us a lot of money as we have been able to grow and expand and get out of playing tall, as that next sea zone is now discovered. So we have the beginning, we have the New World journey, we have the return to home journey, or if we're further south, a quick return home there as well. I still don't know if that actually plays a factor in travel times at all, but if it does, we have the bonuses, we have the boost. Well, the quickest would be an exploration of this next land here. I mean, second quickest, that's inland. We can avoid that for now. We also can see that we've got that 10% reduction in cost now. Oh, but here's Hispaniola. It's only 13 months. It's 1 month longer. That was what I was wanting to do next anyway, so we'll do it. Finally, another province is done down here. We're at 35%. Nirgua's at about 75, so it'll be done in a decent amount of time. As for the other, 2.25 are complete for 28% overall. The efficiency of cabinet 1 is done. There's 5%. And there we go. The exploration for Hispaniola already going, and it's only going to take 6 months. Tunisia and Morocco going to war with each other. Love to see them weakening one another instead of being allies. Eventually we'll be strong enough to take advantage, and we can still maybe sneak in if Tunisia is dominating the war. Invite settlers is available once again. Ribateo right at 100k, and also just outside of Lisbon. We'll take that. Population's kind of stalled at 1.8 million here lately as we colonize and see the disease hurt numbers, help numbers, hurt numbers, help numbers over and over again. There's probably some things we could do to address that, and as we have some gold, we might be able to spend a little bit more on some things. But speaking of spend some more on things, let's do some production. Charcoal kiln, fantastic. Paper Makers Guild, good money makers available to us right now. Lumber mill, a brewery, oh, we already have 6 of them. Santarém can take care of that one. And there might be some new things that we've barely gotten into. Jeweler's Guild only has 2. Let's go ahead and add 1 there. So what sort of new thing? A bog iron smelter. Okay, not sure we need to use that. Sand pit, though, is a new one that we haven't used. It's going to start producing sand, but we have sand as kind of a core thing. Not entirely sure we need that. There's those cotton plantation options, sugar plantation, tobacco plantations. But I don't think we've colonized any of those provinces just yet, though. I thought there was there was a cotton one, but it's in the subject in the colony that we have. We've seen the value of marketplace. We can expand the marketplaces, and we have 2 areas that don't even have one. So we'll get 1 in each of those. And now we're down to 277. I think we can go back on target for a Fool's Guild. Excellent. So, bustling economy, rapid exploration, couple active colonies, 1 established, or two established colonial states that are on their own and helping us with trade and providing us at least a little bit in terms of ducats. We've added another province, and Granada's finished off. Morocco made some headway with Castile, weakening them a little bit because they have no cogs, which we're up to 7. I think we need to continue growing our navy in the short term. We are getting the manpower situation back under control, but we're only going to be able to get so far with that one without further armories. But I don't want to take the military hit just yet. But our army has absolutely grown. I think we need to get cannon on the go, though, for the sake of siege. You get bonuses, and there's definitely some combat value as well to having that ranged unit. So might be time to start looking into that as a producer. Production wise, did I not see anything that's going to give us cannon? Irrigation's a possibility here too. Local pop capacity, local food production going up. That could be beneficial in a lot of areas. Lieutenancy, local. No, we don't want local nobles power. No, thank you. But proximity source. Ay. Counting house, local crown power. But I cannot build any right now. Not quite sure why, but man, that would be nice to have. Protected harbor, harbor capacity, naval attrition getting lower. That's nice. Embassies, diplomatic capacity. Lifts fog of war locally. Okay. Royal court, crown power increase and efficiency of cabinet. Lisboa, give me a royal court. Let me look specifically at soldiers' buildings and our sergeantry also. Lisbon does not have, as we keep moving that capital, it keeps losing. New one. Movement cost, local proximity cost, bridges. We might have to start saving up. We're making ducats fast enough. Might be time to save up long term and turn Lisbon into a city. Last I checked, that was about 1,700 ducats that would cost, but that wouldn't take us less than 10 years at least to turn it into a city. Long term, huge benefits from doing that. But that is going to do it for this episode. We have made a lot of progress. I'm getting really happy with where we're at. A lot of stability in a lot of ways, and we are very much not playing tall anymore. We're not hugely competitive on the world stage just yet, but I think if we get a major head start in New World colonization, I have a feeling we can become far more powerful. I mean, we were in the high 40s not long ago. Suddenly we're at 36. The embraced institutions really helping with that, but there's other things to do. And again, as we're making more money and still being able to do the things, that's gonna snowball into, if we use it appropriately anyway, that's gonna snowball into a lot of things that are gonna make us stronger. Like I said, we nearly doubled our forces here. We went from 2K to 3,500. I think we could be on the verge of doing something pretty phenomenal. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.